Noah stepped off the silver shuttle and felt the soft hum of Zeralia beneath his boots. The air shimmered with a faint blue light, and tall crystal towers stretched into the sky, reflecting the sunlight like thousands of tiny stars. He had read about this planet, studied its maps, and listened to endless reports, but nothing prepared him for the sight of it with his own eyes. Every step he took on the smooth ground made a quiet echo, and the strange plants around him seemed to sway. Though there was no wind, the Zeradians were known to be a proud and secretive race. Stories spoke of their advanced technology, their disciplined warriors, and the mysterious energy that flowed through their cities. Noah had been chosen as a human observer because of his curiosity and his courage. He was small compared to the towering Zeradians, but he carried the confidence of someone who had faced danger before. As he approached the central plaza, he noticed the people of Zeralia moving gracefully among the streets. Their skin glowed faintly, and their eyes reflected the colors of the crystals around them. They wore simple flowing garments that shimmered with energy. Noah felt like an intruder, yet he could not tear his eyes away. The city was alive, and it seemed to watch him as much as he watched it. Then he saw her. Princess Mira stood on a balcony above the plaza, her presence commanding attention. She was taller than any human, but there was a softness to her movements. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, and her eyes held the light of distant stars. She wore a garment of deep violet that seemed to shift colors in the sunlight. Around her stood her elite guards, silent and alert, each holding weapons that looked more like art than instruments of war. Noah felt a strange pull, a mixture of awe and fear. He had read about royalty before, even seen leaders from powerful nations on Earth. But Princess Mira radiated authority in a way that made the air itself feel different. He did not understand why, but he felt as if she was aware of him specifically. His heart beat faster, yet he could not move away. The guards noticed him immediately. Their eyes, sharp and precise, followed his every step. Noah realized that approaching the palace directly would be impossible. The courtyard was wide and open, and they would not let any human walk freely without permission. He debated staying back, observing from a distance, but his curiosity was stronger than his caution. He took out his communicator and quietly sent a message to his team. "I am near the palace." No immediate threats yet. Observing Princess Mira, he paused and watched as her eyes shifted slightly in his direction. She tilted her head, and for a moment, their eyes met. A shiver ran down his spine. He could not explain it, but it was as if she recognized something in him. No one knew he was taking a risk. The Zeradians did not welcome outsiders easily. Many humans had come before him, and most had returned with nothing but stories. Some had disappeared entirely. He reminded himself that he was trained, prepared, and capable. Still, a small voice in his mind warned him to be careful. He decided to move slowly, keeping to the shadows of the crystal pillars. The courtyard was filled with Zeradians walking gracefully, and Noah blended with the crowd as best as he could. Every now and then, he caught glimpses of Princess Mira. She was watching him. Though she remained on her balcony, the guards shifted slightly, but they did not move closer to him. Noah's eyes wandered to the murals carved into the walls of the surrounding buildings. They told stories of a history he could not fully understand. Humans and Zeradians worked together in some of the scenes, building cities, exploring planets, and sharing knowledge. He felt a strange connection to the art, as if these ancient images were reaching across time to speak to him. Then something unexpected happened. The princess gestured with her hand, and her guards slowly stepped back. Noah froze. He could not believe what he was seeing. The guards, who had been watching him with unwavering attention, moved away, leaving the princess alone on the balcony. She looked down at him with an expression that was unreadable, yet inviting. Noah's mind raced. This was not supposed to happen. Humans were not allowed to be this close without permission. Yet here she was, the most powerful figure on the planet, signaling him to come forward. He hesitated for a moment, thinking of all the warnings he had been given. Then he reminded himself that this could be the moment he had trained for, the opportunity to learn something no other human had seen. He took a deep breath and walked toward the palace. Each step felt heavier than the last, yet he could not stop. The plaza seemed to quiet around him. The chatter of the crowd faded, and the hum of the city became almost musical. He felt eyes on him. But it was not the guards or the citizens, it was Princess Mira herself. When he reached the base of the balcony, he stopped. She leaned forward slightly and whispered something so soft that Noah could barely hear it. The words were in his own language. His body stiffened. It was a simple phrase, but it carried weight, fear, and meaning all at once. He did not understand how she knew his language or why she was speaking directly to him. Noah wanted to ask questions, but he found himself unable to speak. The princess's gaze held him in place. It was not a gaze of threat, nor of friendliness. It was something deeper, something that made him feel small and significant at the same time. He looked around, noticing the empty space where the guards had once stood. No one moved. The city seemed to pause, waiting for what would happen next. Noah realized that this was no ordinary meeting. This was a moment that could change everything, not just for him, but for humans and Xeradians alike. Finally, he found his voice. Princess Mira, I'm Noah from Earth. I mean no harm. I only wish to understand your world. She did not respond immediately. She tilted her head slightly, studying him. Her silver hair shimmered, reflecting the light from the crystals above. Then, with a gentle motion of her hand, she beckoned him closer. Noah felt a mixture of fear and awe, but he stepped forward. As he moved, the princess whispered again, just enough for him to hear. The words were soft, yet they froze him completely. Something in them told him that his life, and perhaps the future of both Earth and Xeradia, was about to change forever. Noah could not move, could not think clearly. He only knew that he had taken the first step into a world far beyond anything he had ever imagined. The crystal city seemed to glow brighter, the air vibrated with energy, and Princess Mira waited for his next move. At that moment, Noah understood one simple truth: nothing on Xeradia would ever be the same again. Noah stood frozen, feeling the weight of Princess Mira's gaze. Her whisper from the balcony had unsettled him in a way he could not explain. The words had been familiar yet mysterious, almost like a memory he did not fully remember. He wanted to speak, to ask her what she meant, but his voice felt trapped inside him. The princess extended her hand slightly, a small gesture that felt like an invitation. Noah knew that stepping closer was risky. The guards had not moved far, and Xeradians were known for their strict rules. Any misstep could have meant immediate consequences. Yet the pull he felt was stronger than his fear. With careful steps, he moved forward. Each footfall on the smooth plaza echoed softly, and the light from the crystal towers shimmered across his path. As he approached the base of the balcony, he noticed how quiet the plaza had become. The Xeradians who had been walking gracefully among the streets now paused, watching. It was as if the city itself had paused to witness this meeting. Noah's heart pounded in his chest, but he forced himself to stay calm. Princess Mira's eyes seemed to glow faintly in the sunlight. She did not speak again immediately, but tilted her head as if studying him. Noah could feel her curiosity, her intelligence, and something else, something gentle beneath the regal presence. She was the most commanding figure he had ever met, yet there was a softness to her movements that made him feel both nervous and welcome. Then, without warning, she spoke again. Her voice was soft, melodic, and calm. Noah, she said, saying his name perfectly. Come closer. There is no danger here. The words shocked him. How did she know his name? How did she pronounce it so clearly? He took another step forward, and the princess leaned slightly over the balcony. The guards had moved farther away, giving him space. Yet their presence still lingered like a silent warning. Noah finally reached a spot where he could look up at her face. The expression in her eyes was unreadable, but it held power, understanding, and trust all at once. He wanted to ask questions, but the words caught in his throat. Instead, he simply nodded, signaling that he would follow her guidance. Do you see the city, Noah? Mira asked, her gaze sweeping across the crystal towers and glowing streets. It has been alive for centuries, yet humans have only recently come here. You are not like the others who arrived before you. I feel it. You are different. Noah's curiosity grew stronger. Different how? He asked, finding his voice at last. His words were careful, respectful, yet filled with the eagerness of someone who wanted to understand. Mira smiled faintly, a movement that was almost imperceptible, yet it held warmth. Different because you do not fear what you do not understand. Different because your heart carries courage and hope. Many humans come seeking power or knowledge, but you seek truth. That is why I sent my guards away. That is why I am speaking to you alone. Noah felt a mixture of relief and disbelief. The princess had cleared her guards to meet him. No human had ever received such trust from a Zorathian royalty. He wanted to bow, to show respect. But he hesitated, feeling the need to act naturally. He took a small step closer, keeping his hands visible and relaxed. Mira observed him silently for a moment, then spoke again. You must understand, Noah, that Zorathians are cautious. Our history with humans is long and complex. Many who arrived before you caused fear or conflict. You, however, carry the potential to change that history. But first, you must see what others do not see. Noah's mind raced. He had studied Zorathia, its people, and their legends. But nothing prepared him for this personal attention from the princess. He tried to imagine what she meant. Change history. Potential. What could a single human do in a world so different from Earth? Mira's silver hair caught the sunlight, reflecting faint sparks of blue and purple. She leaned a little closer and whispered, just for him to hear, if you wish to understand, you must trust me, not the city, not the guards, not the others who came before you. Trust me. The words froze Noah again, but this time in a different way. They were not frightening, but demanding. Trust was a challenge for him, especially in an unfamiliar world. Yet there was no doubt in his mind that she was sincere. The calm certainty in her voice left no room for hesitation. I will try, he said finally. His voice sounded small to him, but it carried determination. He could see a faint smile in her eyes, a silent acknowledgement of his courage. Mira gestured downward, indicating that he should follow her into the palace. The doors opened slowly, revealing a hallway lined with softly glowing crystals embedded in the walls. The light reflected across the floors, casting patterns that seemed almost alive. Noah felt a strange energy in the air, one that resonated with his own heartbeat. As they walked, Mira explained quietly, this palace holds our history and our secrets. Few humans have ever entered here, and fewer still have been trusted to see what lies within. You must be careful, Noah. Not everything is meant to be understood by outsiders. Noah listened intently, feeling the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He had come to study a distant world, but now he realized that his role was far greater than he had imagined. Every step deeper into the palace made him aware of the fragile balance between trust and danger. They reached a large chamber where murals covered every wall. The murals glowed faintly with energy, telling stories of Zorathians and humans working together long ago. Noah recognized some of the scenes from his research, but many were entirely new. Humans and Zorathians built cities, explored strange lands, and shared knowledge. Some of the images seemed almost alive, moving subtly as he looked at them. Mira spoke again, her voice gentle but firm. This is why I chose to speak to you, Noah. You see the meaning behind these murals, not just the surface. You can understand what humans and Zorathians were once capable of together. That understanding is rare, and it is the reason you are here. Noah stepped closer to the murals, feeling a connection he could not explain. These stories were not just history, they were a message meant for him. He turned to Mira, who watched him closely, her expression unreadable but calm. You have a choice now, she said softly. You may leave and return to your people, or you may stay and learn the truth of Zorathia, the truth that only a few humans have ever known. Your actions from this point will shape the future, not just of this world, but perhaps of many worlds. Noah took a deep breath, feeling the gravity of her words. The princess had trusted him alone, without her guards, without hesitation. He could not turn away. Not now, not after all he had seen and felt. I will stay, he said, his voice steady. I want to understand. I want to learn. Mira nodded slightly, a small but approving gesture. The air around them seemed to hum with energy as if the palace itself had accepted his decision. Noah felt a surge of determination and wonder. He had entered a world far beyond Earth, and he had chosen to walk its path. As they continued deeper into the palace, Noah realized that nothing would ever be the same again. He had taken the first step into a story that would challenge his courage, his mind, and his heart. And at the center of it all was Princess Mira, whose trust in him held the key to a future neither humans nor Xeradians could yet imagine. Noah followed Princess Mira deeper into the palace, his steps echoing softly against the smooth floors. The glow from the crystal walls bathed the hall in a soft light, and the air hummed with an energy that made his skin tingle. He could still feel the weight of the princess's whisper from the balcony, a sound that had frozen him in place and left a lingering sense of urgency in his chest. They reached a circular chamber at the heart of the palace, the ceiling arched high above them, with crystals hanging like stars in a night sky. In the center of the room was a raised platform surrounded by floating orbs of light. Each orb shimmered and pulsed gently, and as Noah looked closer, he realized that the lights within them were moving, almost like they were alive. This is the Chamber of Memory, Princess Mira said, her voice calm and steady. The orbs contain knowledge and events from both our world and yours. They show truth, courage, and the choices that shaped our civilizations. Few humans have ever seen them, and fewer still have understood their meaning. Noah stepped closer to the nearest orb. The light within it swirled and shifted, forming shapes that resembled people, places, and events. He could see humans working alongside Xeradians in ancient cities, building great machines and exploring new lands. It was as if history was unfolding before his eyes. Princess Mira moved beside him and whispered, "The words I spoke to you on the balcony were a warning and a call. You have ancestors who once walked among Xeradians. They were trusted allies who shared knowledge and courage. I sensed your connection to them the moment you arrived. That is why I sent my guards away. That is why I spoke to you directly." Noah's heart raced. Ancestors who had worked with Xeradians. He had always known that humans had untapped potential, but he had never imagined a connection like this. His mind tried to make sense of it. If what Mira said was true, then he carried more than curiosity or courage. He carried history in his blood. "Show me," he said, his voice barely more than a whisper. "Show me what I need to see." Mira nodded and gestured to the orbs. One floated closer to Noah, hovering at chest height. Its light brightened, and within it appeared a vision. Noah saw a group of humans, much like himself, standing beside Xeradians. They shared tools and knowledge, built cities, and worked together to explore distant worlds. There was a sense of harmony, of mutual respect, and of great bravery. "These were your ancestors," Mira said softly. "They were humans who chose to trust, to help, and to fight alongside us. Their courage changed the course of Xeradian history. But their story was hidden after conflicts arose, and their knowledge was lost to time. You carry their spirit. No, that is why you are here now." Noah felt a mix of awe and disbelief. He had always thought of humans as limited, bound to Earth and its struggles. Yet here was proof that they could rise to extraordinary heights. He felt pride swell in his chest, but also a heavy responsibility. If he carried the spirit of those ancestors, he had to honor it. "Why me?" Noah asked. "Why now?" Mira's gaze was steady. "Because the balance of our world is fragile. There are those among us who seek power and control, who would exploit Earth and its people. They do not know the value of courage, trust, or wisdom. You, Noah, have the heart to stop them. You have the ability to unite our worlds before conflict destroys everything." Noah swallowed hard. The weight of her words pressed on him, but it also gave him clarity. He had not come to Xeradia for adventure alone. He had come to face a challenge that required more than skill. It required heart. Mira guided him toward another orb. This one glowed brighter and seemed to pulse with energy. Inside, Noah saw images of recent events on Zorathia's skirmishes between factions, attempts to manipulate energy sources, and shadows moving in the palace corridors. He realized that danger was not just a possibility. It was already present. These factions will not stop easily, Mira said. They do not understand the bond between humans and Zorathians. They see weakness where there is strength, division where there can be unity. You must act with both courage and wisdom. You must prove that humans are capable of more than they imagine, more than they are often given credit for. Noah studied the vision carefully. He saw patterns, weaknesses, and opportunities. His mind, trained for observation and problem-solving, began forming plans. He could see that his rival was not just a coincidence. It was a moment that required action, precision, and the courage Mira had recognized in him from the start. Can I do it? He asked quietly. Can I really make a difference? Mira smiled faintly, her eyes shining with an emotion Noah could not name. You already are making a difference. Every choice you make, every step you take, brings our worlds closer together. But you must trust yourself as I trust you. Fear will slow you, but courage will guide you. That is the lesson of your ancestors and the reason you are here. Noah took a deep breath, feeling the hum of energy in the chamber around him. It seemed to fill him with a strange warmth and strength. He looked at the princess, standing gracefully among the floating orbs. Her presence was commanding, but it was not fearsome. It was guiding. It was a reminder that he was not alone, that his actions mattered, and that courage could bridge worlds. He stepped closer to Mira and spoke with determination. I will do what I can. I will learn, and I will act. I will honor my ancestors and protect both our worlds. The princess nodded. Then your journey begins now. You will face challenges, Noah, but you will not face them alone. Remember the whisper I gave you. It is not just a warning. It is a key. The key to understanding, to courage, and to the choices that will shape the future. Noah closed his eyes briefly, letting the weight of her words sink in. The whisper had been strange, almost impossible to understand at first, but now, in the presence of the chamber of memory, it made sense. It was a call to action, a connection to his ancestors, and a reminder that humans were capable of greatness when guided by heart and wisdom. He opened his eyes and looked at the glowing orbs, the murals, and the princess who had trusted him above all others. The world of Zorathia was vast, complex, and filled with dangers he could not yet fully see. But for the first time, he felt ready. He felt the courage of his ancestors within him and the trust of Princess Mira beside him. And as the hum of energy in the chamber filled the space around him, Noah realized that nothing would ever be the same again. His path had been chosen, but the steps were his to take. The whisper in the wind was no longer a mystery. It was a beginning. Noah followed Princess Mira through a long hallway lined with glowing crystals. The walls shimmered, and the light reflected in his eyes, making him feel like he was walking inside a living jewel. Every step echoed softly, but the hum of energy in the palace made the sound feel alive. He could sense that he was moving deeper into Zorathia's secrets, and every step made his heart beat faster. The princess stopped before a large, ornate door that seemed to hum with power. She reached out and pressed her hand against the surface, and the door opened silently. Inside was a room unlike anything Noah had ever seen. The floor was polished to reflect the ceiling, and tall shelves lined the walls. Each shelf held objects of strange design, glowing artifacts, and ancient scrolls that seemed to vibrate with energy. This is the Hall of Knowledge, Mira said softly. Here, we store the wisdom of generations. Not just ours, but knowledge shared with humans long ago. Few have been allowed inside, and even fewer have understood what it contains. Noah stepped in. Looking around with wonder, he saw maps of stars and planets, devices that seemed to operate on pure energy, and writings in languages that twisted and shimmered like moving water. He felt both excitement and humility. Here was a civilization far beyond Earth, and yet Mira was guiding him to understand it. Why show me this? Noah asked. Why trust me with these secrets? Mira's eyes were calm, but her gaze was intense. because you are connected to those who came before you. Humans who worked with Zorathians long ago left behind knowledge, courage, and lessons. Their deeds were almost forgotten, but their spirit remains in you. You have the heart and mind to understand what others could not. Noah moved toward one of the glowing artifacts. It was a small sphere of crystal, floating above a pedestal. When he reached out, the sphere expanded slightly and showed a vision inside. He saw humans and Zorathians building together, exchanging ideas, and facing dangers side by side. They fought monsters, navigated storms, and explored planets that glowed with unknown colors. These were your ancestors, Mira said. They were humans who did not fear the unknown. They trusted, they learned, and they acted with courage. That trust changed the course of our history. They became allies, friends, and leaders. But the story was hidden after a great conflict. The knowledge was lost to most humans, and the memory faded. Noah felt a deep connection to the images. He had always believed humans could do great things, but seeing proof like this filled him with pride. At the same time, he felt responsibility pressing on him. If he carried the same courage, he could make a difference, but the burden was heavy. Why? Now, Noah asked, why show me this after so many years? Mira moved closer and lowered her voice. Because the balance of Zorathia is in danger. Not all who serve this planet act for its good. Some factions seek power, and they do not care for the future of humans or Zorathians. You have arrived at the right moment. Noah, your presence is not accidental. You have the chance to restore balance, to guide us back to trust and cooperation. Noah's mind raced. He had expected exploration, study, and observation. He had not expected to face a challenge that could affect the entire planet. Yet he felt the courage that Mira spoke of. His ancestors had done great things, and he knew he had to live up to that legacy. Mira gestured to another artifact. It was a small, glowing tablet that projected a three-dimensional map of Zorathia and the surrounding regions. Points of light moved across the surface, representing factions, cities, and energy sources. These are the current powers on Zorathia, she explained. Some act for peace, some for dominance. You will need to understand their strengths, weaknesses, and intentions. Only then can you act wisely. Noah studied the map carefully. He could see the patterns of energy flows, the locations of cities, and the movements of small groups. His mind worked quickly, forming strategies and possibilities. He realized that Zorathia's challenges were not just physical, but also political. He would need courage, wisdom, and careful planning to make a difference. Mira watched him with a steady gaze. You see clearly, Noah. That is why I trust you. You are not here to fight recklessly, but to understand and act with purpose. You carry the potential to unite what has been divided for centuries. Noah felt a surge of determination. He had been chosen not for strength alone, but for his heart and his mind. The whisper she had given him on the balcony made sense now. It was not only a warning, but a call to responsibility. He had the opportunity to honor his ancestors and to protect both worlds. Will you guide me? Noah asked. I want to do this, but I cannot do it alone. Mira smiled faintly. I will guide you, but you must also trust yourself. The choices are yours. I can provide knowledge, wisdom, and support, but courage must come from within. That is the lesson of your ancestors, and it is the lesson you must carry forward. She moved to a wall and touched a panel. A hidden door opened, revealing a small chamber filled with more orbs. Each orb contained memories of courage, trust, and wisdom from humans and Zorathians alike. Mira gestured for Noah to step inside. These orbs will show you lessons from the past. She explained, you will see successes, failures, and choices that shaped our civilizations. Pay attention, Noah. Every detail matters. Noah approached the first orb. It glowed warmly and projected a scene of humans and Zorathians defending a city. Against a great storm, they worked together, using both intellect and courage to protect their people. The humans were not perfect, but their determination and trust made them remarkable. The next orb showed a negotiation between human and Zorathian leaders. Words and gestures carried meaning. and mistakes could have caused war. Noah realized that diplomacy was as important as bravery, understanding, empathy, and strategy were needed to guide both worlds. As he moved through the chamber, he began to understand the scope of his role. He was not only a human on a distant planet, he was a bridge between species, a link in a chain that had begun long ago. His actions would honor the past, shape the present, and influence the future. Mira watched, silently, allowing Noah to absorb the lessons. She did not need to speak. Her presence alone was a reminder of the trust she placed in him. Noah felt a deep respect for her courage and wisdom. She had risked much by sending her guards away and speaking to him directly. Finally, Noah turned to Mira. "I understand now," he said. "I know the responsibility. I will do my best to honor my ancestors and protect both our worlds." Mira nodded. "Good. Your journey is only beginning. You will face challenges, and the choices will not always be easy. But remember, courage, trust, and wisdom are your greatest tools. You carry the potential to change history, Noah. That is why I sent my guards away and whispered to you. That is why I chose to trust you." Noah felt a mixture of pride, determination, and anticipation. The secrets of Zarathia had been revealed to him, and he understood the importance of his role. He was ready to face the challenges ahead, guided by the wisdom of the past and the trust of Princess Mira. As they left the Hall of Knowledge, Noah knew that his life and the future of Zarathia were forever changed. He had taken the first steps toward unity, courage, and understanding, and at the center of it all was the princess who had seen in him the spirit of his ancestors and the potential of humanity itself. Noah stood in the central courtyard of the palace, feeling the warm glow of the sun on his face. Princess Mira had brought him here for a purpose he was only beginning to understand. Around him, the courtyard was empty except for the floating orbs that hovered silently in the air, their soft light reflected in the crystal floors, creating patterns that seemed to move with his every step. "This is where your test begins," Mira said. Her voice was calm but held a quiet intensity. "The orbs will show you challenges from the past, present, and possible future. You will be tested on courage, wisdom, and trust. Only by facing these trials can you prove that humans are capable of more than even we expect." Noah looked around at the orbs. Each one glowed with energy, and he could see faint shapes moving within them. Some showed people working together to solve difficult problems. Others depicted moments of danger where bravery and quick thinking were required. Noah felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. He had trained for challenges before, but nothing like this. Mira stepped closer and placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "Do not fear, Noah. This is not a test of strength alone. It is a test of heart and mind. Observe, think, and act with courage. Remember the whisper I gave you. It is a key to understanding, to seeing beyond fear." Noah took a deep breath. He could feel the energy in the courtyard pulsing gently, almost like it was alive. He stepped toward the first orb. As he approached, the image inside expanded. He saw a group of Zarathians caught in a sudden storm. Energy winds twisted around the city towers, threatening to destroy the structures. The humans in the vision hesitated, unsure how to help. Noah realized that the vision was not only showing the past, but asking him to make decisions. He studied the patterns of the storm, observing how the energy flowed and where the dangers were greatest. Then he acted. He reached out, touching the orb lightly, and imagined solutions in his mind. Instantly, the vision shifted. He saw the humans and Zarathians working together, using clever tools and strategies to stabilize the buildings and protect the people. Mira watched him silently, her expression calm but approving. "Good," she said. "You are seeing not only the danger, but the solution. That is the first lesson. Courage without thought can fail. Courage with wisdom can succeed." Noah moved to the second orb. This one projected a scene of negotiation. Two factions of Zarathians were in conflict over control of a vital energy source. Their voices were sharp, their expressions tense. Noah realized that if humans and Zarathians could not find trust in such moments, the conflict could escalate into war. He focused on the details. He noticed how one faction moved its hands, how their tone shifted, and how small gestures changed the meaning of their words. Noah projected solutions, imagining ways to calm tensions, build trust, and create understanding. Slowly, the vision changed. The factions began to listen to one another, compromise, and find common ground. The energy flows stabilized, and the city seemed safe again. Mira nodded. You see clearly. Humans have the ability to act wisely and to bring others together. That is a gift we have rarely seen in your kind. You are beginning to understand the importance of trust. The next orb glowed brighter and larger than the others. As Noah approached, he felt a sudden chill. Inside, he saw a shadowy figure moving through the palace corridors. It was an intruder, someone attempting to steal knowledge and control energy, sources for personal gain. The figure was fast, precise, and dangerous. This is a test of courage. Mira said, you will face threats that seem impossible. You must act without hesitation, relying on both your mind and your heart. Noah studied the orb carefully. He noticed the intruder's patterns, predicting the paths and strategies it might take. He imagined intercepting the figure, using the environment to his advantage. Slowly, the vision shifted. He saw himself and Zorathians working together, blocking the intruder and protecting the city. The figure was contained without harm, and balance returned. He turned to Mira. It felt real, he said. I could almost feel the danger, the energy, and the risk, but I think I understand. It is about thinking ahead and acting with courage, not rushing blindly. Mira smiled faintly. Exactly. This test is not only about facing danger, but about learning to see clearly, to act with foresight, and to trust your own instincts. The whisper I gave you was the first key to understanding this. It is not enough to react. You must see the patterns and act wisely. Noah took a moment to breathe. He felt stronger, more confident, and yet aware that the challenges ahead would be even greater. He realized that this test was preparing him not just for immediate danger, but for the responsibilities he would carry in the future. Mira guided him to a final orb. This one glowed with a soft golden light inside. Noah saw a vision of a great city under threat from both natural and political forces. Humans and Zorathians worked side by side, but the challenges were immense. The vision seemed almost impossible to solve. You must face this final test alone, Mira said. It is a combination of everything you have learned: courage, wisdom, trust, and heart. You must find the way to protect both humans and Zorathians from harm. Only then will you be ready for the trials that await outside this palace. Noah stepped closer. He studied the vision, taking in every detail. He noticed the flow of energy, the positions of the people, and the movements of those seeking to cause harm. He thought of his ancestors, their courage, and the trust they had built with Zorathians. He remembered Mira's words, her trust, and the whisper from the balcony. Slowly, he projected solutions. He imagined working with the Zorathians, coordinating actions, predicting dangers, and using both human ingenuity and their energy powers. The vision shifted again. The city stabilized, the threats were contained, and the humans and Zorathians celebrated together. Noah felt a surge of relief and pride. Mira stepped closer, her eyes calm but shining with approval. You have passed the test, Noah. You have shown courage, wisdom, and trust. You have acted with heart, and that is what makes humans capable of greatness. Your ancestors would be proud, and I am honored to witness your strength. Noah felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He had faced visions of danger, uncertainty, and impossible challenges, yet he had acted with thought, courage, and trust. He realized that this was only the beginning. The test had prepared him, but the real challenges were still ahead. Thank you, Princess Mira, he said, bowing slightly. I understand now that my actions can make a difference. I will not fail. When the time comes, Mira nodded. Good. Remember, Noah, the test is only the start. The choices you make outside this courtyard will shape not just your life, but the future of humans and Zorathians alike. You have proven that humans are capable of more than we often give them credit for. Now, It is time to prepare for the trials that await beyond these walls. Noah took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the courtyard and the wisdom of the test settle within him. He knew that he had grown stronger, not only in skill but in understanding. He felt ready to face the challenges that would come with Princess Mira's guidance and the trust of those who had walked this path before him for the first time. He truly believed that humans could stand as equals with the Zorathians, that courage and wisdom could bridge worlds, and that he had the potential to change history. Noah stood at the edge of the palace courtyard, feeling the cool wind of Zorathia brush against his face. The test in the chamber of memory had prepared him, but he knew this was different. This time, the challenge was real, not a vision. The safety of the city and the trust of Princess Mira depended on what he would do next. Mira stood beside him, her silver hair glowing faintly in the sunlight. "This is your first real challenge," she said. "You will face danger that is immediate and unpredictable. Remember the lessons from the orbs: courage, wisdom, trust, and heart. Your ancestors faced challenges like this, and now it is your turn." Noah nodded, feeling both nervous and determined. He had trained for crises on Earth, but nothing compared to the energy and power of Zorathia. He could feel the subtle currents of energy flowing through the city. The floating towers and crystal streets hummed with life. Something had shifted. Danger was near. Suddenly, alarms echoed softly throughout the palace. The floating orbs of light pulsed faster. Mira's eyes narrowed slightly. "There," she said, pointing toward a distant energy tower. "A faction seeks to take control of the city's power source. They are skilled, organized, and fast. You must act quickly." Noah moved forward. His mind raced as he observed the movement of the intruders. Unlike the visions, these were real beings, alive and dangerous. Their energy pulses were strong, and they moved in coordination. He recalled the lessons from the test. The key was not to confront them recklessly, but to observe, plan, and act with courage and intelligence. He spotted a narrow passage along the side of the energy tower, using the shadows. He approached silently. The intruders had not noticed him, yet he focused on predicting their patterns, anticipating where they would strike next. Noah's training on Earth, combined with what he had learned from the Chamber of Memory, allowed him to think quickly and act decisively. The first intruder reached the control panel of the energy tower. Noah knew he had to prevent them from gaining control. Using a device he had borrowed from the Hall of Knowledge, he projected a small energy barrier. The intruder paused, confused by the sudden obstacle. Noah acted swiftly, using the environment to guide the intruder away from the tower and into a controlled space, where they could not cause harm. Mira watched silently from a distance, her expression calm but intense. She did not intervene. She wanted Noah to act on his own, to prove that humans could face real danger with courage and wisdom. Two more intruders approached, moving faster and more aggressively. Noah had to make a quick decision. He remembered the lessons about trust and coordination. He could not face them alone. He reached out with his mind, connecting with the subtle energy currents he felt in the city. Using the techniques Mira had taught him, he redirected the flow slightly, causing the intruders to stumble and hesitate. They recovered quickly, but the delay was enough. Noah moved to block their path, using both speed and strategy. He did not strike with force, but guided them into a contained area, where they could not reach the control panels. His actions were precise, careful, and effective. The intruders were frustrated, but could not overcome the barriers and traps he had set. As the situation stabilized, Noah felt a surge of confidence. He had faced real danger and succeeded by thinking clearly, acting decisively, and using both courage and intelligence. He realized that this was what Princess Mira had meant when she said humans could achieve greatness. Strength alone was not enough. Wisdom and heart were equally important. Mira approached him. "You have done well." "No," she said. "This was not a simple challenge. You acted with courage and intelligence, and you protected the city without unnecessary risk. You have proven that humans can be trusted allies and leaders." Noah exhaled slowly, feeling the tension leave his body. He had faced his first real test outside the visions and succeeded. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. The factions that threatened Zoralia were powerful, and their motives were not fully known. He would need to continue learning, observing, and acting wisely to protect both humans and Zorathians. Suddenly, one of the intruders tried a final, desperate move. They activated a small energy device, attempting to disrupt the city's power flow. Noah reacted immediately. He focused, using the energy currents he had learned to sense and guide. The device sputtered and failed, unable to overcome the control he had established. The intruder froze, realizing defeat. Noah felt a mixture of relief and pride. The danger was over for now, but the lesson was clear. Courage, wisdom, trust, and heart were the keys to survival and success. Humans could achieve more than many imagined, but only by learning, observing, and acting with purpose. Mira placed a hand on his shoulder. Do you understand now, Noah? This is what I meant when I whispered to you on the balcony. The danger you faced was real, but the lesson was greater. You must act with clarity, courage, and compassion. That is the strength of humans. Noah nodded. I understand, he said. I feel the responsibility, but I also feel capable. I will continue to learn and act wisely. Mira smiled faintly. Good. The first challenge is behind you, but the path ahead will be more difficult. There will be decisions that test your courage and wisdom even further. Remember your ancestors, and remember the whisper. Trust yourself as I trust you. Noah looked at the city, feeling a new sense of purpose. The crystal towers and glowing streets were alive, filled with energy and potential. He had faced real danger and succeeded, but he knew that the future would require even more courage, intelligence, and heart. He was ready to continue, guided by Princess Mira and the legacy of his ancestors. As the sun set over the palace, casting long shadows across the courtyard, Noah felt a quiet determination settle within him. He had faced the first real challenge, and he had proven that humans were capable of greatness. The journey was far from over, but he was prepared to face whatever came next, for the sake of both Zoralia and his own world. He took one last look at Mira, who nodded encouragingly. Your path is only beginning, Noah. The future will test you, but I believe in your strength. You have the courage, the wisdom, and the heart to make a difference. Noah took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the city and the lessons of the test within him. He was ready for the challenges ahead, and he knew that he would not fail. Humans were capable of greatness, and he would prove it on Zoralia. Noah stood at the highest tower of the palace, looking out over the glowing city of Zoralia. The sky was filled with stars, reflecting in the crystal streets below. He felt the hum of energy beneath his feet, a constant reminder of the power and responsibility that flowed through this world. The events of the past days had prepared him for this moment, but he knew the ultimate challenge was still ahead. Princess Mira approached silently, her presence calm and commanding. This is the moment, Noah, she said softly. The factions that seek control are gathering. Their actions will decide the fate of the city, and possibly the balance between humans and Zorathians. You must make choices that will define your role and the future of both worlds. Noah nodded. He felt a mix of determination and nervousness. He remembered the lessons of the Chamber of Memory, the visions in the orbs, and the first real challenge he had faced in the courtyard. Every test had taught him courage, wisdom, trust, and heart. Now, all of those lessons would be needed at once. The first signs of danger appeared below. Small groups of intruders moved toward the city's main energy hub, attempting to disrupt the delicate balance that powered Zoralia. Noah could sense their intent through the faint currents of energy that flowed through the streets. He focused, analyzing patterns and predicting their movements. The stakes were higher than ever. Mira gestured toward a balcony nearby, where a holographic map of the city had appeared. The movements of the intruders were displayed, along with the positions of the city's defenders. You must act wisely, Noah, she said. Decisions now will affect not only this battle, but the future of Zoralia and its people. Your ancestors faced impossible choices, and you must do the same. Lead with courage, but also with wisdom. Noah studied the map carefully. He could see weaknesses in the intruders' formation and opportunities to redirect their energy. He recalled the strategy he had used in the courtyard. But now the challenge was larger, more complex, and real. One wrong decision could cause damage to the city or harm its people. He acted quickly, coordinating with the defenders and using the energy currents to block the intruders' paths. His instructions were clear and precise, guiding both humans and Xeradians to act as one. The first wave of intruders was contained, but more were approaching from multiple directions. Noah realized that he had to split his focus and anticipate their next moves. Drawing on his training and the lessons of the orbs, he projected plans in his mind. Calculating the best way to protect the energy hub and minimize risk, he used the city's layout to his advantage, directing defenders to choke points and openings where the intruders could be contained without harm. The plan worked, but only partially. Some intruders were clever, adapting quickly and finding ways to bypass the defenses. Noah felt the pressure, but he remembered Mira's words. Courage alone was not enough. Wisdom, trust, and heart were equally important. He decided to act differently. Instead of confronting the remaining intruders with force, he sent a signal through the energy currents, calling out to them. It was a risk, but he hoped that communication and understanding could achieve what force alone could not. The intruders paused, confused by the unexpected approach. Noah focused on the currents, projecting calm and reason, showing them the futility of their actions and the possibility of trust. Slowly, some of them began to hesitate, questioning their mission. Others continued to push forward, but the momentum had shifted. Noah saw an opportunity to end the conflict without unnecessary damage. He guided the remaining intruders into a controlled space where they could be contained safely. The city's energy stabilized and the defenders relaxed. The threat was over for now. Noah felt a surge of relief and pride, knowing that he had acted wisely and with heart. He had faced real danger, made critical decisions, and succeeded where fear and force alone might have failed. Mira approached him, her expression both calm and proud. You have done what many thought impossible, Noah. You faced real danger and made choices that protected the city and its people. You have proven that humans are capable of courage, wisdom, and trust. Your ancestors would be proud. Noah exhaled slowly, feeling the tension leave his body. He had faced the ultimate test, and he had succeeded. Yet he knew that his journey was not over. Xeralia would always have challenges, and humans had a role to play in shaping its future. He had taken the first steps, but the path ahead would require continued courage and wisdom. Mira placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. Your actions have changed the course of history, Noah. Humans and Xeradians can work together again. The trust you have built, the courage you have shown, will be remembered for generations. You have proven that greatness is not measured by strength alone, but by heart, mind, and determination. Noah looked out over the city. The energy currents flowed smoothly. The towers glowed brightly, and the streets were filled with life. He felt a deep sense of accomplishment and connection. He had not only faced danger, but had guided others to act with courage and intelligence. He had honored his ancestors and proven the potential of humans. Mira's eyes met his, and he saw both trust and hope in her gaze. Remember this moment, Noah. The future will always present challenges, but you have learned the lessons that matter most. Courage, wisdom, trust, and heart will guide you. You are ready to face whatever comes next. Noah nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and the strength of his own abilities. He realized that humans were capable of greatness, not only in bravery and action, but in understanding, empathy, and leadership. His choices had shaped the outcome of the city's crisis, and he knew that he could continue to make a difference in the future. As the stars shone above Xeralia, and the crystal city reflected their light, Noah felt a quiet determination settle. Within him, he had faced the ultimate challenge, acted with courage and wisdom, and emerged victorious. The trust of Princess Mira, the lessons of his ancestors, and the knowledge he had gained would guide him as he continued his journey. No, turned to Mira. "Thank you for trusting me," he said. "I understand now that humans can achieve more than we ever imagined. I will continue to act with courage, wisdom, and heart." Mira smiled faintly, her presence calm and reassuring. "You have proven it, Noah. The path ahead will have trials. But you are ready. Remember your ancestors, your training, and the whisper I gave you. Humans are capable of greatness, and you have shown it today. The future is in your hands, and I believe you will honor it." Noah took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the city, the trust of Princess Mira, and the strength within himself. He knew that the journey of courage, wisdom, and heart would continue, but he felt ready. He had faced the ultimate choice and succeeded, proving that humans could stand as equals with Xeradians and shape a future of trust, unity, and hope. The city shimmered beneath him, alive with energy and potential. Noah knew that the lessons he had learned, the challenges he had overcome, and the choices he had made would be remembered for generations. He had proven that humans were capable of greatness, and he was ready to continue guiding both worlds toward a brighter future.